Hey, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maurya Hanspal, and in this session, I'm going to talk about some new emerging themes overall, not specifically talking about the clean energy themes that are available in the market. So basically, I would be talking about the new themes overall. हम बात करेंगे कि भाई themes में क्या है, चल क्या रहा है exactly, and कौन-कौन से new themes market में आ रहे हैं, which can help you to get more return either on your investments or help you guide others to get more return on their investments. Okay. And हमें themes भी at least पता होना चाहिए because like when we particularly talk about themes, okay, a large number of value stocks get emerged out of them. Okay. A large number of value stocks get emerged out of them. So first let's talk about the today's topic. Emerging new themes. Yeah. So emerging new themes. So अगर हम बात करें, see, particularly I want to start the discussion with the ESG theme. The most trendy theme that is going on. Trendy theme. Yeah. E stands for environmental. S stands for social. And G stands for government. So when we talk about the environmental theme, see, nowadays in the previous session also, as I talked about, a large concern has been starting to go like towards those companies who are ESG compliant or who are environmental compliant. Because even the global initiatives on climatic change, global conferences, people have started to realize the concept of global warming and how the environment is getting continuously deteriorated by that. Okay, people are using the non-clean energy sources to produce things, to produce metals, and all these things are continuously harming the environment. So whenever we talk about the environmental theme, the first theme that comes to the mind is the clean energy theme. Clean energy theme. So this is the first theme that is being talked about, the clean energy theme. So when we talk about the clean energy theme, we have your renewable power, में ये मतलब कि सब ये सारी बातें आ जाती हैं, विंड पावर, योर सोलर, हाइड्रोजन, एंड जो एनवायरनमेंट को पोल्यूट करता था दैट वाज कोल बेसिकली. सो पीपल आर सर्चिंग फॉर एन ऑल्टरनेटिव टू कोल, but again it is very difficult to have an alternative for coal. Recently people tried to have the alternative for coal and they stopped the production of the coal. But then they started to realize that the manufacturing capabilities of all the companies worldwide was not so much for the clean energy. They still have to invest into the clean energy themes, diversify their operations, and invest more money into like making some more capabilities for that. So that thing that was particularly being going on. Okay, and then they started the production of coal, and then they started to face the shortage of coal because coal is something that is being getting produced from generation to generation, and suddenly you cannot have the alternative sources of energy because they take time. It takes years and years to produce that. And that is why a large number started to expand or diversify themselves and basically started to put investments into the clean energy theme so that they can avoid coal. Recently, the manufacturing of the metal known as aluminium was also stopped like because of coal. Because aluminium is something that requires coal for its production ultimately. Right? And coal and aluminium की demand भी बहुत ज़्यादा है because of EVs and other like electricity stuff and all. And you cannot stop the production of aluminium by saying कि coal use होता है. Okay, so ultimately the prices of coal have also risen because states like Mozambique or South Africa, your like Austria, like they've stopped the production of coal, but now they have started once again, and that also hampered the production of aluminium as well. So that was creating the issue also, because aluminium is a metal which is very necessary for all these things and all, for housing stuff, for decoration and all. Aluminium is being used even in your utensils also. Okay, so that is something for which the your aluminium is basically being used for. So they have started to focus on renewable energy power, wind energy, solar power, and hydrogen power. And in India also, like when we talk specifically, our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, has set a target by 2030, like 500 gigawatts of clean energy per day or renewable power per day. वो 500 per day है तो 450 तो रिलायंस नहीं कर दिया प्रॉमिस कि they have started their investment, like they like recently acquired a company called Rex Solar, 40% stake in Wilson and Sterling. In next wave also, like they had some stake or like acquired that whole company. So they're like diversifying into that field ताकि they can support this mission. एंड उन्होंने इतना बोला है कि हम 2030 तक इतने सक्षम हो जाएंगे कि हम 100 गीगावाट्स ऑफ एनर्जी पर डे प्रोड्यूस करेंगे. So that thing they have also been talking about, 100 gigawatts of energy per day, like they would be producing. So this thing also they have talked about. Okay, that is one thing like that is being going on, and a large number of companies have started to like go toward these themes and all. Because so that is one thing. Like when the people talk about the clean energy, इसी से एक related theme आता है EV का theme, electric vehicles. Yeah, let me open the chat also. ठीक है. Okay, you have this electric vehicle का thing. Why this electric? Because no combustion. Because pollution नहीं होगा environment में. Because air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution are the major types of pollution like that are being caused. And Delhi is like one of the most polluted cities all over the world. Okay, तो इसमें तुम्हारा combustion कम होगा, pollution नहीं बाहर जाएगा. And that is the companies like which have started to focusing on the theme of electrical, because they have thought about by like 2030 एक EV 30 का मिशन स्टार्ट करा गया है, EV at the rate 30. तो उन्होंने बोला by 2030 में एटलीस्ट 30% ऑफ द व्हीकल्स मस्ट बी और इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स ओनली. दूसरी कंट्रीज में कंप्लीटली लाइक 100% का भी टारगेट दिया गया है बाय 2030 का. बट दैट इज समथिंग लाइक विद द कंट्रीज फोकस अपॉन, मतलब कि अपनी कंट्रीज का डिफरेंट डिफरेंट होता है हाउ फास्ट दे कैन डू इट. ओके, सो दैट वाज वन थिंग दैट वाज गोइंग अपॉन. ओके, सो ये टारगेट EV at the rate 30 का दिया गया है. Now the companies like which are focusing on your EV themes, ठीक है, like that company will do well, because particularly like when we talk about the themes, now these are your themes ultimately, and the people who tend to recognize these themes earlier and invest into these themes, they tend to benefit, because ultimately the demand for these companies will rise in future. Your clean energy companies, your EV companies, and these companies can become the future large cap companies also, because the demand for these companies will be very high. And that is the thing which like people go on and talk about as well. Okay, and that are called the value stocks, because ultimately they might be trading at a very low value at the present time, because now just the demand has been boosted for them, and not in 1 day or 2 days the demand for the shares can come at so high. धीरे 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 the prices of these shares will rise ultimately, because these are the value stocks, they possess the value for future. अब मैं value क्यों बोल रहा हूँ? because clear defined value है. तो गवर्नमेंट ने टारगेट दे दिया है कि 2030 तक आपको क्लीन एनर्जी का मिशन 500 गीगावाट्स एंड सो का करना है, तो करना है. एंड मतलब बेसिकली देयर इज नो क्वेश्चन अपॉन दैट. सिमिलरली अगर EV एट द रेट 30 का टारगेट है तो वो करना है एंड देयर इज नो स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन like about that, and like no one can question that, because that is ultimately solving a bigger problem. Certain industries can get hurt. A clean like when we particularly talk about clean energy, but Coal India type companies, or the companies like which are into the manufacturing of coal and also, these companies can get hurted. So what the Coal India did recently, it has started to expand itself into the other clean energy themes as well. But if a company's name is Coal India, how can it do it so well, right? Similarly for EV, the companies like which are not transforming into EV can also get hurt. Like EV companies like which are not transforming into EV can also get hurt ठीक है, and that can further be create a problem as well for the companies. ठीक है, बिकॉज ये हैव बीन लाइक यूजिंग अ पेट्रोल डीजल पे हुआ है, ठीक है, मतलब कि कार्स चलती हैं ऑल है। तो अगर ईवी आ जाएगा, सो दोज कंपनी लाइक व्हिच आर नॉट इनटू दिस कंप्लीट पुश कैन आल्सो गेट अ हर्ट। अब क्लीन एनर्जी में आई गेव यू द एग्जांपल ऑफ रिलायंस दैट लाइक रिलायंस इज बेसिकली डूइंग वेल, then you have your Suzlon Energy and various energy companies are there as well. But in terms of EV, Tata has almost occupied the whole space. Tata Motors cars बना रहा है. Tata Elxsi is providing the IoT technology. I'll write down this. मैं पूरा erase करता हूँ. Yeah, occupied the whole space. Tata Motors. ठीक है. इसमें you have Tata company, not Tata Motors. Tata Group basically. तो सबका होल्डिंग कंपनी. You have Tata Power, like which is into clean energy provide करेगी for EVs, electricity, battery swapping, BaaS as a service, like this battery as a service. तो इन सब चीज़ों में it will help Tata Power. You have Tata Green again for batteries and all. Tata Green. You have Tata Elxsi that will provide you what? Tata Elxsi a company है. Now this Tata Elxsi will give you IoT technologies, Internet of Thing technology provide करेगी for this EV services and all. Tata has almost occupied the space. Even their EV vehicles have started to launch in the market, though they are pricey also. Cost भी उनकी ज़्यादा है EVs की. Now, like when we talk about your buses में company that is coming in is that like Mahindra electrical buses are coming in. Electra Green company is there. इस कंपनी को लोग इतना देख नहीं रहे हैं, but it's a really good potential. I'm not recommending, I'm just telling you the companies that are good at. JBM Auto, then parts and all के लिए for battery parts and all, like even for e-rickshaws you have Mahindra, right? Then for parts and all के लिए भी company like even like JBM Auto like manufactures part. You have Minda Industries. You have Sona Comstar IPO जो लास्ट ईयर आया था मार्केट में. Like when we talk about a clean energy theme की अगर हम बात करें, like you have a company called Borosil Renewables. First point की बात कर रहा हूँ, Borosil Renewables. It is the सोलर ग्लास बनाने की, इट्स अ मोनोपोली इन इंडिया, और कोई कंपनी है नहीं बनाने की. एंड नाउ दिस कंपनी हैज स्टार्टेड टू बी लाइक रिकॉग्नाइज्ड. ओके, तो अगर हम गूगल पर जाएंगे, इफ यू गो टू गूगल, गिव मी अ सेकंड, बस शो यू. ये देखो. ठीक है, या. एंड इफ यू टाइप हियर Emerging EV companies in India. अमराजा बैटरीज, ये पहले कार मैन्युफैक्चरिंग बैटरीज के लिए काम करते थे, अभी भी कर रहे हैं. अमराजा एयरकॉन. अशोक लेलैंड फॉर बसेस, अशोक लेलैंड की बसेस एंड ऑल होती मार्केट में, लाइक अशोक लेलैंड इज देयर. कार्स भी आ रही हैं. इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल स्टॉक्स, मारुति सुजुकी ने अभी लाइक रिसेंटली स्टार्ट करा. Amaraza batteries or Exide Industries. Hero Motorcorp is a two-wheeler, two and three wheelers. Like it has the lead. Himadri Specialty Chemicals, because chemicals are used in your batteries also. Vedanta, Hindalco Industries for metals, non-ferrous. Ashok Leyland Automobiles, Truck LCV, or Mahindra Mahindra, or Tata Motors, Tata Chemicals, Greaves Cotton for diesel designs. Graphite India, Hindustan Copper, Maruti Suzuki, JBM Auto. The other leading EV stocks in India that are working on electric vehicles or related ancillary products are JBM Auto की हमने बात करी थी, Electra Green Tech की हमने बात करी, Cabra Extension Technique, IOC, BPC, Reliance Industries, NTPC, Power Grid, जो Tata Chemicals, Gujarat Fluorochemicals, Neogen Chemicals. Because Neogen, uh, there are two things, like one is palladium, I remember, and the other is your neon. Palladium and neon are also used in your EV batteries, like which were like being imported from Russia, Ukraine, because like those are like one of the largest producers. So अगर वो companies like Neon and Palladium बनाए तो those companies will also do well. तत्व चिंतन फार्मा, अभी ये नहीं है मतलब कि सारी कंपनीज इनमें से अच्छा करेंगी. That you have to find out on the basis of their financials also. It's again important, right? That's something also you have to focus upon. क्या, अब अगर हम डालें क्लीन एनर्जी कंपनीज इन इंडिया, टाटा पावर, I told you, Suzlon, I told you, Renew Power is again. But Renew Power is something that got listed outside on the bourses, like not in India. Company Indian है, but listed बाहर है. So like it, and like it was a special acquisition vehicle के अंदर में, Tata Power, Tata Power Group, NTPC, Brookfield, JSECL, NHPC, SCCI. ये companies can do well in this scenario. This company को इसका हम लोग ज़्यादा बात नहीं करते. Websol Energy Systems, Sterling Wilson Solar. I told you example की renewable energy theme में. Because they're like some of the companies that can do well. ठीक है. Coming back to the whiteboard, हम ESG की बात कर रहे थे, environmental की हमने बात कर ली. Now social is basically it includes your CSR activities, the corporate social responsibility activities, like whether the company is doing good to cater to the society, like helping them get employment, like provide foods and medical opportunities at a discounted rate, at subsidized rate, or free of cost. Now the corporate social responsibility, like when we talk about, it has become mandatory for the companies now. And CSR की भी like limit दी हुई है, like if you're having a profit of like turnover of more than मतलब even 1,000 crores, um है ना, like you're having profit of like 500 crores, average net worth is 500 crores and profit is 50 crores, then you have to contribute at least 2% of the profit for the previous 3 years as a part of the CSR activities. Then you have the governance norms. So like when we talk about the governance norms, they include the corporate social governance norms. Because nowadays people have also started to talk about the corporate governance issues. Like when we had the scam, the Satyam scam, Enron scam, WorldStorm scam. So all these things were even like Harshad Mehta scams. So all these things that they question the corporate governance system because ultimately banks were also involved in, right? So these things are also talking about, and that also because recently like there was talks between the Vedanta or Adani, like where there was some corporate governance issue like the SEBI had raised. But these issues have been going on for past some time. So that is again a concern which people look for the ESD themes. So the first thing we talked about are ESD themes. And the other theme that is going around is the pet care industry. Pet care industry. Because on an average, like out of 10 households, approximately 4 to 5 had one pet. Okay, so again, this pet care industry is also going on. So all these companies that are into the food, the pet care industry, like for example, Mars. Mars a company has a pedigree बनाती है. Okay, so like if these companies get listed in the future on, okay, so these companies can also do well and they're literally profitable companies. So at least a startup profitable company like would get listed on the bourses. By bourses, I mean stock exchanges. Okay, so pet care industry companies because they are doing well. They are into like pet care, nutrition, into themes and all. So the pet care industry people have started to talk about as a new emerging theme. Yeah, emerging from the pet care theme, animal health care. Okay. Like recently, there was a news that Mr. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala's enterprise, the Rare Enterprises, it acquired the animal healthcare business of Zydus Cadila. Zydus Cadila पूरा नहीं है उसका animal healthcare business. Because these people know कि value कहाँ पे. Because like why, like the reason that I gave. Because after the COVID, like doctors recommend people to get a high protein diet. And like which you get from animals also. So animal healthcare, poultry businesses have also value. That is one thing. Animal healthcare businesses, or poultry businesses, farming businesses are gonna gain too well. Agri-tech is another theme because this year in the speech they talked about like having a like matlab ki chemical free fertilizers and all that. When your DAS people are talking about DAS is nothing but drone as a service. Drone as a service. Like literally the drones would come off on your farms and spray the pesticides and all. That thing they've also been starting to talk about. Then what? More businesses see one business like towards healthcare food and packaged food. Healthcare foods basically. This theme has also started to emerge. People have been talking about the healthcare foods, healthcare themes, because now people have started to realize that they have to increase their immunity level and reduce their dependence upon medicines. Because this COVID-19 pandemic has made everyone realize about the importance of immunity. Okay, so these things have also been going on, which is important in the present day scenario. that like should be known to you as well. That is something which we have been focusing upon. Okay. So either I feel like some of the new emerging themes like which are prevalent in the modern day, and if you're trying to pick up stocks for these companies, be very careful because not all of the stocks in these were the value ones. Some companies will go on at a very high pace, and some companies will be like just like guards and go. So that thing you have to take into consideration as well, like when we talk about the new